The sixth set will be played on Korhal, Floating Island. Spawning in the bottom left-hand position as the red Protoss, hailing from SK Telecom T1, and their super ace player, it's Rain.
His opponent is a Terran player from CJ Entus, spawning on the right top position of the map as Blue Terran. His name is Bbyong.
We don't get to see that Terran CJ logo enough, man.
Yeah, it's
so
actually
colorful.
So colorful. It's a giant logo, but we just don't see it much because Bbyong and Sky High haven't been doing well in Pro League, and they opt to send out Bong a little bit more than Bbyong.
It looks like some of the SK Telecom players are laughing on the bench. I think they have a feeling that Rain will destroy any nerd left from CJ Entus.
What actually happened is two players were talking, and the Beast is like, "We're on camera. Stop. Stop for a sec. You can talk to me after we're off the camera."
Did he really say that?
It seemed like it because like they were having a fun time. Beast looks front. And he's like, "Well, we're on camera." And then S2 was it S2 next to him? I think it was S2.
I believe it was S2.
S2 turns around and then he stops talking to Bisu for a second.
Even the players being a little bit camera shy. All right, well, we have a barracks and then quick refinery afterward from Bbyong here. And on Rain's side, just opening up with the standard gateway, is going to go ahead and scout his opponent out. I like the decision for the early scout from Rain's side. All he has to do is make sure that he doesn't fall prey to any type of early cheeses or all-ins. And he's got probably some of the best, if not the best, PvT late game. He has it down cold. It's a very methodical approach to it, and he makes it work.
Dude, he is 9-1 in this matchup. 9-1 in PvT.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a fantastic player when it comes to PvT. His opponent Bbyong, he could still win. He is 6-3 in this matchup, so a best matchup when it comes to comparing TBT, TBC, and TBP for Bbyong. But the lead for Rain when it comes to the paper, when it comes to the data, is so huge that it's going to be hard for Bbyong to take out Rain, but certainly possible.
Yeah, it's possible, but Rain still is the favorite player. I want to say he's the favorite player versus everybody on CJ, especially after seeing how he did against Hydra, who supposedly has an amazing record in ZVP. He just got completely destroyed by Rain.
Yeah, that was just a little mind game from his opponent Rain, and
interesting. We got a double Reaper opening. You don't see this too often, and maybe he'll be able to get a few SC or probe kills here and there, but the problem is we already have a Stalker and Mothership Core on the way for Rain here.
Yeah, and those Reapers are gonna get denied eventually, but the question is, can Bbyong take out a lot of probes before the Stalkers and the Mothership Core takes out the Reapers?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think the Reapers will do some good scouting, and that'll be about it. Maybe they'll get a kill, maybe two, but I don't see any more than that. All right, the Reapers are making their way across the map, and Bbyong grabbing his command center behind this, building that in the main base. And actually, interestingly enough, sending his Reapers around the map looking for potential proxies.
Yeah, he doesn't want to get proxy stargated at all at this point, since the Reapers are... He's trying to scout every single possible position for a proxy stargate right next to his natural.
And behind this, we have a factory on the way for Bbyong. And he already has that reactor, so he's able to build some Marines. He could build a fast reactored Hellions or Widow Mines if he chooses to from this factory as soon as it finishes off here.
If he wants to go for the early harassment, he has enough time to build 2 Hellions and then right into two Widow Mines before the medvac finishes. So usually the Terran players' harassment, if they go for this style, is they get the 6 Marines and 2 Widow Mines inside the main base, pretty much draw out every single probe to the natural and the Hellions to the rest.
Interestingly enough, Bbyong, he just showed the 2 Reapers. Like, he didn't even really care that the Stalker saw the second one there. I think that may have been a bit of a mistake by him.
Well, I think it was just for actually scouting.
Oh, interesting. We have Bbyong moving across the map here with a good amount of Marines, and he's got some Hellion production behind this. Maybe he's going to go for a timing.
He wants to force out the Mothership Cannon at the natural base so that when he goes for the drop inside the main base, there's not going to be any Mothership Cannon. However, the Mothership Core has a lot of energy saved up at this point. So
it does.
Bbyong can try his best, and now he's going to go for the push, knowing that there's only 1 Stalker and possibly only 1 more unit with the Mothership Core behind this.
All right, the Mothership Core, it's going to have to use that Nexus Cannon, and that's going to scare away these units. 1 Reaper, it falls to the pressure here, but you know what? I think maybe he just wanted to force that, and then he's going to back off and go for a stronger follow-up here We have a medevac in production. At the same time, Rain building a proxy pylon close to his opponent's base here. The kind of, I guess, the weakness of the style of play that Bbyong's doing here is that you are very vulnerable to counterattacks since all of your units are on the other side of the map.
Well, that's a lot of Hellions being built right now, up to 6, but Rain scouts the number of Hellions, and he knows that warping in too many units with the proxy pylon can actually cost him the game.
He is making 3 Stalkers right now. Those have finished up here. So he's all he needs to do is get a lot of Stalkers and just kind of kite at this force here. If he has up to 5 to 6 Stalkers, maybe even 7, he'll be fine against this.
Well, the Medwreck is out, and that's only 3 Stalkers and 2 Sentries. Here comes the Hellions at the natural. Seems like he wants to draw out the second Mothership Cannon at the natural at this point, because there's still a medevac.
Right, the medevac moving in here now, and look at this. He's trying to get good positioning. Do we have enough energy for the Nexus Cannon? It doesn't look like it. The Mothership Core is going to get taken out here. This is a very strong attack from Bbyong. He has just managed to kill off a lot of units here. 10 SCVs have been destroyed here, and the Hellions, they're going to go ahead and boost out of there. Rain, he's got some units over here on the other side of the map. He's going to go for a potential counterattack here. And I think that Bbyong, he's going to be, trying to do damage in the main and the natural. He will not be focused on his opponents at the natural of his own. Now the Stalkers moving in here. We have Rain splitting up his workers.
Bbyong needs micro.
It's going to come down to a micro war in this position.
Now, behind us, Bbyong does have a 3rd command center, so as long as he takes out the Stalkers at the natural base, he can still stabilize in 3 bases. Look at the probe to SCV difference right now. 22 probes to 33 SCV, so can he actually defend against the Stalkers?
I know, that's a lot of Stalkers right here. There's no tank out yet. There's no bunker. There's just a few Marines. The tank has completed, and it's very far behind a lot of the defenses here, so it can start shelling down on these units, but if we can see the Stalkers break through here in time and finish off that tank, then, that's going to be able to help him win the game. But the SCV is on the mineral line with the medevac. It's going to force Rain back.
And behind us, yes, Rain is boosting out
man.
the probes right now. And Rain is ahead in supply, but, Bbyong, he could still try to stabilize in 2 bases quickly because he has 3 command centers. He could just drop the mules instantly.
He can certainly drop those mules there. 26 to 24 workers as well, I want to point out. It's very even here, but the worker count for Bbyong will just increase.
Skyrocket.
It'll skyrocket. It's going to go up faster. We have the medevac harassment that can continue from Bbyong. This has just turned into a weird game here because, we generally don't see early timings like that from Terran, but, it actually worked out very well for Bbyong for the most part. Rain, if he didn't have that proxy pylon on the other side of the map, I think this game would pretty much be over at this point.
Yeah, but also if Bbyong did not just make some siege tanks for himself, the game would have been over at this point also. Yeah. So both players having a nice decision making, and Bbyong is actually adding in more siege tanks, but adding in too much at this point is just going to allow Rain to get a lot of Immortals out and take them out one by one.
Indeed. All right, guys, we have a Warp Prism on the way from Rain. Interesting choice here. And he did build an Immortal early on, too.
Yeah, and also remember, there is an Observer scouting everything, so the power of the Marine tank is that your opponent does not scout this composition, but Rain exactly knows what's happening right now, so it's not as strong as Bbyong hopes to be.
Alright, so Bbyong looks like he wants to move across the map here. He's got some Marines. The combat shield is going to finish here, and does he have stim, though? I'm not sure, actually.
I think he went for the sim first, and then possibly the combat shield. That's pretty much the tech that the Terran players choose to go for.
Once again, Rain going for a large counterattack as soon as his opponent is on the other side of the map here. Forcing yet another kind of quasi-base raid scenario. He's focusing down this command center here, and then the rest of Rain's forces are moving back. There's nothing defending the natural for either player, though. Rain getting into the main base of his opponent. He's going to be able to cut off any reinforcements here. The Stalkers and the Immortals in that Warp Prism, they're going to be key here, and it looks like Bbyong getting surrounded here. The Immortals focus firing down the tanks. Have we seen Rain do it and come back in this game after being in such a bad position? He should be able to deal with the units inside of his main base here. There's only a handful of Marines left. The tanks have all died as well. Rain, this guy unstoppable. He defends against the pressure in his main base, and at the main base for Bbyong, all of the units are being taken out here. The SCV count down to 4. The last siege tank dies as well. There's only a handful of Marines left, and they will fall.
Yeah, once the Stalkers and the Immortals join up with the main army inside Bbyong's base, that's going to be it, and Bbyong is pretty much forced to tap out at this point. GG.
There he is. GG. What a sick game from Rain there. Like, Bbyong, he did a lot of great timings, but Rain, he knew how to completely counter that playstyle. He kept countering as soon as his opponent went over to his base and attacked.
I mean, Bbyong showed everything to his opponent. He got up to 2 siege tanks out, which is enough to defend against the timing. But Bbyong decided to push out with the 3 siege tanks, with the observer still scouting the unit composition from him.
Alright, so the score, it's currently 3-3. Rain has managed to tie it up. He is now tied effort for 3 kills today. Can he go for the all kill? Or will Hero from CJ Entus turn this game around? We'll find out after this commercial break.